Pleased to be joined now by the 2022 male UFC Fight Pass Fighter of the Year. It is Bo Nickal. I don't know where this accomplishment goes on the list of NCAA national championships and a Hodge Trophy, but you might want to put it on like a business card or something like that, Bo.
Yeah, it feels pretty good to me. I'm definitely excited about it, and feels just good to have my hard work recognized and had a great year. So very grateful to be where I'm at.
Let's talk about the year because it's been kind of a whirlwind. You turned pro at Icon FC, and then it was immediately to the Contender Series, and you were supposed to fight in December. You even took some grappling matches for the Fight Pass Invitational. Were you able to really even forecast the year, or was it just sort of a locomotive that you were getting on?
No, that it's definitely been a whirlwind. It's been a wild ride, and there wasn't much forecasting. I mean, I've been training MMA full time since last August, so not a whole lot of time, and transitioning from getting a couple amateur fights, and originally I was trying to get more amateur fights, and things fell through. I wasn't able to get more amateur fights, and then I wanted to make my pro debut earlier in the year, make it in ideally would have been like February, March. Ended up having to push it back all the way to the middle of the year.
Yeah.
Luckily, I was just ready, prep, training, and ready to compete. And after my performance on Icon, which got a lot of notice and a lot of attention, the UFC was immediately calling and stuff, and they were like, "Let's get you on Contenders." And so then it was just like I didn't expect that at all. Being a 1-0 pro, I expected to get to 5 or 6-0, fight a few more times regionally, get more experience, and then probably do the Contenders or be in the UFC like 2023. But the way it went, I had opportunity to be on Contenders, and made the most of both of those fights there. And so it's just been definitely a whirlwind, definitely something that I didn't predict, but I'm really excited to be where I'm at, and I'm ready to go. And I got big things on the horizon, so I'm just working every day and looking forward to making the most of those.
You've captivated the mixed martial arts fans, but for whatever reason, I feel like there's always a group of fans that think that maybe someone like yourself is getting something that is undeserved. And I think the reason they feel that way is that there are X amount of fighters that have to fight so many times before they get to, a main card pay-per-view or things like that. But at the same time, they're also not NCAA national champions, right? Like, do you feel that, like, maybe some hardcore fans give you some pushback that maybe isn't, all that necessary because of your accolades?
Yeah, I get a little bit here and there, but it doesn't really matter to me. People can complain all they want about whatever it is, and I'm going to go out there and take care of business and do what I know how to do. And what they say or think I deserve doesn't really have anything to do with me. That's between me and the UFC, me and the company, and Dana and Hunter. And so I'll talk with those guys. And the thing I just really focus on being the best I can be and going out there and putting on spectacular performances. So I think that a lot of these guys who are fans who say I don't deserve this or that, they really don't know me. They've never listened to an interview on me. They've never watched me compete. They don't know what I've done up until this point in my career, and they don't know the 20 plus years that I put into the sport of wrestling and what I built myself into. And but at the end of the day, they're talking about me, right? Like
Right.
I'm a 3-0 pro fighter who's signed to the UFC, who's probably the biggest prospect ever to come into the sport. And so these guys are talking about me, saying I don't deserve this, I don't deserve that. And at the end of the day, that's a good thing. They're chatting about it, and I think people will continue to chat, and I'll continue to prove that I belong at the top.
Yeah, I think you're a must follow on Twitter because you'll, kind of go back and forth, not necessarily addressing any one fan in particular, but you speak your mind, Bo, and that's what I like.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, like I like engaging with the fans and talking with them and stuff, and it's amusing to me because people will say the craziest stuff on the internet when I know at the end of the day, if they saw me in person, they'd be like, "Let me get a picture, bro." Like
Right,
I'm a
of
big
course.
fan. Like, and on Twitter they'll say like just crazy stuff. Like they'll tell me I suck and whatnot. And so it's just like well, let's actually talk about it. And if you want to bring some factual evidence to your point, then
Right.
we can have a discussion. Otherwise, like, there's nothing really to be said. So I like putting guys in their place once in a while, or just like more than that, just like asking them a question, make them think about stuff a different way. Because if they are hating on me or whatever, and I'm just like, okay, well, why do you think that? And if they really have nothing to bring to the table to back that up, then it's like maybe they'll think about it a little differently, and they won't treat people poorly on social media.
Yeah, logic is the best weapon of all when having internet fights. But you really did it all. Whether it was the knockout and icon, or the impressive performances on the Contender Series. It was all very fast, and then you were supposed to fight in December. Now you're not fighting until March. Do you like the idea that it kind of slowed down? Because I mean, we're talking about how you made your pro debut in the middle part of the year. Like that's the craziest 6 months I can remember for a prospect like yourself in MMA history, honestly.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy. It's been a really steep trajectory, and I would have loved to fight in December. Having the fight pushed back to March, I think is good and bad, right? Like I love competing. My favorite thing to do is to go out there and compete when the bright lights are on and all the fans are watching. So for me, I want to do that as much as I possibly can. But at the same time, it does give me more time to train and develop and build my system. I feel like right now, where I'm at in the sport, I'm obviously very young. I'm still a prospect, but I'm building a system of techniques and strategy. And with that, I think that by the time I'm in the prime of my career, 4 or 5 years down the road, that'll be really unprecedented in the MMA world and in combat sports in general with what I can do. So, the more time I get to build that, the more dangerous I am. And I think I'll continue to just separate myself from the pack. There's already nobody in the sport that could compete with me that's even near my experience level. I'm going to start having to fight guys with 20 plus fights every fight. And so it's where I'm at right now is really the infancy of it. And what I'm building, I'm really excited about. So yeah, overall, I think there's good and bad with getting the fight pushed back and how quickly I'm coming along.
Yeah, obviously you want to compete. You say you love the bright lights. What about coaching though? I saw you in the corner of Anthony Cassar. You seem almost a little more chippy when you're in the corner than when you're fighting. But I mean, obviously you flip that switch as an athlete fighting, but man, you just seemed like almost more on a mission in the corner as a coach rather than an athlete almost.
Yeah, I definitely feel passionate about coaching. That's something that I'll pursue in the future. Once I'm retired from competing, I'll definitely coach. But it's something that is really a big learning experience for me cornering my guys in these their last fights, because it's a very different experience being in the corner and coaching versus going out to a fight. For me, when I go out to a fight, it's zero emotion. It's take care of business, and I'm just stone cold in there, focused on the task at hand, very military like. But in the corner, I definitely felt a little more, it's an emotional charge because like these are my guys, these are my best friends and brothers, right. And I just want them to win so bad. But at the end of the day, I can only instruct. I'm not the one that's out there, and so it's a little difficult to let go. And so I'm kind of, I guess, learning how to balance that, because I would still like to approach coaching and cornering in a similar way to fighting, where it's very strategic, specific, emotionless. But it's also hard when I'm not as experienced in that area, and competing is like second nature to me. Whereas sitting in the corner, I don't have a lot of time doing that, but I'll continue to develop and get better in that area as well.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of coaches say it's like playing a video game where the controller's broken. You know what I mean? You can't really do anything about it. But yeah, definitely, it's interesting to see the different personalities of yourself on Fight Night in different roles. So you are the 2022 Male Fighter of the Year here on UFC Fight Pass. Unfortunately, nothing really comes along with that. You don't get a trophy or anything like that. You just get to talk to me. But have you heard about this AI program that everyone is talking about? Like you can essentially, like I would have loved this in high school, you can essentially tell this computer to like write anything you want. You can give it information and it'll just like write a 500-word article if you need it to.
Yeah. I was actually just talking with a couple of my buddies about this the other day, so I know of it somewhat.
So what I decided, because we're not giving you any real prize, I had the AI write a poem about you, Bo. And
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
and so here we go. Here it is. Bo Nickal, a man of great might. In the world of MMA, he's a shining light. A future champion in the octagon with skill and grace. He's faced many challenges with pace. Bo Nickal, a true warrior at heart, he's faced every challenge and played his part. A hero in the cage, a man to admire. He's a legend in the making and a fighter to admire. So it rhymed admire with admire, but what are you going to do? And now, Bo Nickal, we have some news, a secret we've been keeping, a surprise to Muse. You are the 2022 UFC Male Fight Pass Fighter of the Year, a title well-deserved, and a moment to cheer. So here's to you, Bo Nickal, a man of great fame. May your career continue to rise. The MMA game will never be the same.
Wow, let's go. That was sweet.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for that. That's really cool.
I mean, thank the AI robot world, because I can't write anything nearly that good, you know. So, congrats, Bo. May 2023 be as successful as 2022, and maybe we'll write another poem in the interwebs for you next year this time.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I'll definitely put a few more awesome performances together for the AI to write about.
We'll be watching, Bo. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thanks, TJ. Have a good one.